Hello and welcome to this Android development tutorial. This is part 2 of how to make a gallery application for Android. In the previous tutorial, we set up the permissions we require, like reading and writing files, and in this tutorial, we will continue setting up the next features of our Android application, of our gallery application. So on onResume method, after we do this, we will check if we have initialized our app previously, because onResume is called so many times we don't have to initialize the app. We don't want to initialize the app that many times. That's why we create a flag outside it, a global variable, which will be private boolean is gallery initialized. Okay, which will enable us. So remember, as default, that flag is set to false. So we're gonna check if that flag is false before we can initialize the app. So if isGallery initialized is false, we will initialize the gallery app. Of course, at the end, we have to set that flag to true, because after this, the gallery will be initialized. Okay, so that is the last line of the if statement. And now we're gonna initialize our app. To do that, we will get the list view item we created previously. So we go and say final list view find view by id r.id.listView. Okay, now we have to create the gallery adapter, which will use the list view and update each of the cells of the list view, and every cell will be an image. So right now we're gonna go and create that adapter. For that, we're gonna go and say final class, I call it gallery adapter. So this is an inner class. We do it for convenience to keep everything inside one file. So we're gonna go final class gallery adapter, and this will extend base adapter. Okay, we open brackets, and here we have to implement methods. So we're gonna go and check and click on the wording sign and click on implement methods and click on OK. When we click on OK, we find that some methods were implemented. Okay, right here we have all the methods we need. Okay, so we will work with file paths and directories and all of that. So for that, we will create an array list that will store the data we will use. So right here we will go and type private list of strings, and we will call this data, and we will set it to new array list, as you can see right here. Okay, next we will create a method that will enable us to set data from our main activity class. So here we're gonna say void set data, and as parameter we will have to pass the new data, the data we update. So in this case will be list, again a list of strings, so list string, and we'll call it data. Right here we will check if the data that previously existed was greater than 0 in length, so we can clear it if we need it. So to do that, we go and say if that data, which means the outside data, as you can see the color code right there, this data that size is greater than 0, so if it's greater than 0, which means it contains something, we will clear the content. So we go data.clear. Okay, and after that we're gonna say this data add all, and we update with the new data. So we pass data element. And after we update the data, we have to tell the adapter that we have new data and please update it to the screen. To do that, we call the notify dataset changed, okay, which is great. Now on the next, so that's it for the set data method. On the next method, which is get count, we will return the size of the data. So as simple as saying data, return data.size, and that's it. Now we go down into the get view, which the other these other two methods won't be used, so we'll leave them as they are. And here on the get view method, we have to update the image. Okay, to do that, we're gonna say final image view. Okay, final image view, we'll call it image view. So what is this image view thing? So we have to import the image view library too, so make sure you import it. So this image view is the actual image that will be shown to the user. But to access that image, we have to create that in XML code. Okay? To do that, we go to the left side, and on the layout folder, we will right click and then on new layout resource file. And inside here, we will create our item, which is kind of the cell. So in this case, I will call it item as file name. As root element, I'll call it image view because we are using an image view. We press an OK, and right here we have our image view. Additional to these, we have to add an ID. So we go say ID, and the ID we'll add will be img, for example, so sort, which is short for image. Okay, the width is match parent, which will fill the whole device width, and the height, we can set a height here, for example, just for testing purposes, can be maybe 400 dp, for example. We can change that later if we want, or whatever. Okay, so right now we have created our item, and now we can continue to our main activity.java file. Okay, so here we created the final image view. Okay, which creating a final thing is not that interesting, so we won't create final, or do we have to? Okay, let me see. I don't know. So final means that it cannot be assigned later. So we won't create it final. Maybe if we have to change, we will change it. So we delete the final thing. And here we say if convert view, which is the view that it's passed. So if convert view is null, so when the view is null, so it doesn't have contents or anything, we will set the view. We will go and say image view. Oh, we maybe have to make it final, so we're gonna go and say final. Okay, image view equals, we will cast this to image view, and here we will write layout inflator. Okay, layout inflator that from, we open parentheses and say parent that get context. Okay, and then we go outside this parentheses and type dot inflate, and here we will type the name of our item layout, which is r.layout.item. Okay, then we will add the parent, which in this case is just called parent, and the false flag, which is don't touch the root. Okay, so this is in case the convert view is null. Now if it's not null, so you're going to say else we will assign image view to, again we cast this to image view, and this will be convert view. Okay, great. Right now we have to load the image to actually load, and for that we will use the glide library we import in the previous tutorial. So we're gonna say glide dot with so we want to load this main activity dot this because that's our main activity. So main activity dot this dot load data dot get position. So this will get the path of the image file that we want to load. So remember, data contains those paths, and we tell data to get the position of the current element, and it will get the current image. So we're going to say this, and we also add a parameter that it's center crop in order for the image to be centered, and we will tell where do we want it to load. So you're going to say into image view, and it's as simple as that. So Glide is pretty easy to use, as you can see. It's a great library, and of course we have to return our image view right here. Okay, that is great. Now we have created our gallery adapter class. Right now we will have to continue to our onResume method and actually start showing images. Okay, to do that we go to our onResume method. So we already created the list view. Now that we have an adapter, we will create it as well. So final gallery adapter will be assigned to new gallery adapter. Okay, pretty simple and easy. Now we will scan for the image directory. So for that we're going to say final file. We have to import file. So final file images dir. Okay, and here we gonna type new file, and here we will fetch the image directory in the way or in the form of a string. So we're gonna say string that value of parentheses, always uppercase, so value of. Okay, we open parentheses and say environment dot get external storage public directory. Okay, environment dot get external storage public directory, and inside these we will, okay, I will type a new line right here in order for you to know better what's going on. So of course remember to end the line with a semicolon as always. And inside these parentheses right here, we will specify the folder we want to get access to. So in this case will be environment dot directory pictures, for example. So these are the pictures, and in the case of photo images we have directory DSIM. So we can later add support or choose between one of those, but for simplicity I would choose pictures right here. Okay, great. Now we will get how many files we have there. So you can say final file array I will call this files, and inside these I will say images directory that list files. Okay, so we're listing the files. Now if we want to store the how many files we have, we're going to say final int files count, and this will be set to files that length. Okay, now we have how many files we have. Now we will create the array list that will be passed to the adapter, and the adapter will use to show actually the images. So we guys say final list, okay, list of strings. So list string, and I will call it files list. Okay, and inside these we're gonna say new array list, as simple as that. And now we will create a for loop that will check if the file is an image, then it will be added to the list. If it's not an image, it won't be added to the list, as simple as that. So we're gonna create a for loop. For int I equals 0, I less than files count I plus plus, and inside this for loop we will create a final string path, and this will be set to files at I, so we get the file at the I index, and we will say that get absolute path. Okay, now path, the path variable stores the actual path, the file path. So we're gonna check if path ends with, and here we have to specify an image extension, for example, that JPG, you know, that's an image extension. We also can specify another one, like saying or path that ends with that PNG, for example, whatever the case may be. Okay, we can, if the path ends with JPG or PNG, we will go and say files list, we add and add path. So we will add the path of the image to the files list. Okay, after we've done this for loop, we're gonna set the data. For that, we're gonna say gallery adapter dot set data files list. Okay, and here we're gonna say list view that set adapter gallery adapter. Okay, so now we have all the code we need in order for us to start running our application. So I will run the app right now and check if everything compiles and runs fine. So make sure you have everything the same as me so you can go alongside with me with the tutorial. So we're compiling, and it's installed in the APK, and it's installed. As you can see, here it asks us for files permission. We will click on deny to check if it works, right? Okay, if we deny it, it will close the app. Okay, as simple as that. Oops, I've opened the wrong app. So if we deny it, it will close the app. So now we're gonna open gallery. If we open a gallery again, it will ask us again. If we keep denying this, it will close the app. Okay, now we have to allow. If we allow this, we have allowed the access, and this is showing nothing because we don't have anything. I don't have pictures, so I will download pictures and move them to that directory. So I will enable Wi-Fi access right now. So make sure you have pictures, or you can download with me if you want. We will open the web browser. Okay, we will continue. Next, no thanks. And here we will search for pictures. Okay, so inside the images right here, we can open any pictures really and start downloading, like download image. We will give files access, we click on download, we can go in to another image and download, and we can do it for a couple of images, maybe 5, maybe 7, whatever you like. If you have more, better. But for now, I will use maybe a couple, so I'm downloading them, downloading them, downloading them. But what happens when you download an image? Well, that image goes to the download folder, but we want it to be in the pictures folder. So we have to move them. So we're gonna open a file manager. You can be whatever file manager. And on downloads, we will select the image we just downloaded and we will move them to the pictures folder. Okay, we go and say move to. We will move them to show internal storage. Let me see right here on the pictures folder, and we will click on move and we have everything there. Now we can open our gallery app. So I click on gallery and hopefully it should so we will close the app. Okay, so we close the app, we open the gallery app again, and we'll hopefully show the images. As you can see here, we have the images. And why it doesn't show the others? Maybe because the others have a different image extension. Okay, so maybe they have JPEG, because JPEG is a very common extension. So we'll also check for JPEGs right here, like path that ends with double quotes that JPEG. Okay, we will run the app and check if maybe some other images extensions we find right here. So it's running, it's installing APK, launching activity, and now we actually have other images, as you can see, which is great. So you now can scroll on the gallery app. And that was it for this video. In the following video, we will add more features and make this work better and make it more useful. And I see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.